All right, so here we are once again. By the way, it's been a while since I've talked about the Darrell Brooks. There's a lot of people that has been asking me concerning Darrell Brooks and wanted me to say something. I don't know. I just kind of felt like, I mean, what more can I say that hasn't already been said? Y'all know he's a fool. Y'all know he operates in chicanery. Y'all know he's definitely dumb because in this new appellate case, he wants to represent himself again. So he's dumb by virtue of the fact that if it didn't work the first time, all right, because he proceeded pro se, right? Meaning that he represented himself. My point is, it didn't work the initial time he did that. So what makes him think that proceeding pro se is going to deputize his cause? I don't think so. All right, let's dive in.
between me and attorney Kobe. So there was
Hold
no
on.
strategy.
Hold on. Let's rewind back.
That
Let's get to
that's
in other words, let's put it in context. Let's start in the middle. Give me context. So let me start in the beginning. Here we go.
in that circumstance, the SPD will likely not reappoint. I mean, they've said that in their letter. You can change your mind. You can have remorse, regret. You could try to find your
Yeah, but once he does that, he might have be remorseful as far as regretting the fact that he is proceeding pro se. But once you proceed pro se, you are at the mercy of your own self representation. Because even though you regret it, it's like he can't watch. In the first case, he couldn't get back Attorney Perry, right? So he might regret that. But my point is, what makes him think that he's going to be successful in this appellate? Doesn't make sense to
own
me.
retained attorney. And if that doesn't work out, that once this court grants the motion to withdraw, they will not appoint successor counsel.
Exactly. So that means if you regret, she's basically trying to tell him, bro, it didn't work the first time, and it's not going to work this time. But once you get rid of your attorney, you cannot go back. That's it. That's a wrap. But my question is, why is he seeking to represent himself? Is he trying to entertain us again like he did a couple years ago at the expense of his life being on the line? My
Do
God.
you understand that?
Yes, and to be clear, there was no disputes between me and attorney Kobe. So there was no strategy disputes. There was nothing of the sort.
Didn't we already go through this when he had Attorney Perry on as counsel? By the way, I was thinking Judge Doro had asked him, she said, we spent a fair amount of time what she was talking about was the initial protocol where she had asked him, could he read and write, right? And then she asked him again. She said, can you read and write? This is the new case I'm talking about. And I thought about that. I'm like, she already knows he can read, but she has to follow the protocol. Even though she knows he's guilty, she has to follow the protocol. That's just like if you get pulled over by a cop and he suspects that you're drinking or under some type of influence. Here's the point. The point is, they know you under the influence, but they have to perform a protocol in the form of what? Field sobriety test. And they always say, "Oh, we just want to give you a field sobriety test just to make sure that you can drive home." Listen, they already know you effed up. They know you can't drive, but there's a protocol to be established, is what I'm saying. She know he can read and write, but we're following a protocol. Okay, here we go.
Sir, I know from presiding over a previous hearing um, related to the waiver of attorney that we spent a fair amount of time going through your background. And I just want to confirm a few things with you. You can read, write, and understand the English language.
See, that's my point. I just said that. She knows he can read and write. We already went over this when he had Attorney Perry on, and he waived his right of counsel like a fool. So what makes him think that this is gonna work this time? That doesn't make sense, man. But she's following a protocol. I get it.
Yes.
You completed high school through the 11th grade and obtained an HSED. Is that also true?
GED.
A GED. All right, thank you.
He didn't learn nothing. He's still a fool.
Are you currently taking any medications that would interfere with your ability to understand what is going on?
Not currently, no.
Okay, why is he camouflaging his face? He should be camouflaging his hairline. But he's camouflaging his face. He doesn't want to see or want you to see what Bubba has done.
All right, do you have any medical issues that would interfere with your ability to understand what's going on today?
No.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol or drugs today?
No.
It is
Wait a minute. That's interesting. She asked him, is he under any influence of drugs? And when Brooks was out on the streets, that's all he was doing was drugs. He was messed up. And so he's been in jail for how many years now? I mean, what, 2021 is when he was convicted, if I'm not mistaken. So that means he's been there, wait, 22, 23, 24. Wow, 4 years. So that means he's basically 4 years sober, right? You can't smoke a joint in jail. I mean, you probably can, but I mean, that's a whole, y'all know what I'm saying. Maybe he is probably narcotic free because it's been 4 years.
thus far that you have not understood.
No.
Are you asking this court to allow Attorney Covey to withdraw as your attorney of record?
Apparently, that's why
Yes.
we here.
If you change your mind, I want to confirm once again that you are aware the public defender's office will not appoint successor counsel.
Wait, that's what I'm saying. Darrell already knows that. We already went over this when he wavered Attorney Perry. And again, what makes him think that if it didn't work the first time, why? So now the question is, why? Why is he so, I don't know. Why is he so ready to represent himself? I think he's trying to put on a performance like he did initially.
Yes.
Are you aware that if you can't hire or retain an attorney on your own, the public defender's office will not appoint successor
Darrell Brooks is unaffluent. What is unaffluent? That means he ain't got no money. You indigent mother. All right, let me stop.
counsel, including compliance with all court rules and procedures?
Yes.
Man, he really covering that mouth. Somebody, yo, Bubba probably knocked
Anyone
the.
make any threats or force you in any way to waive your right to an attorney in this case?
No.
This is just protocol. That's all
Anyone
this
make
is.
any promises to you in exchange for your waiver of right to an attorney?
No.
Do you believe you're making the decision to waive your right to an attorney freely, voluntarily, and intelligently?
Yes.
Do you need any more time to talk to Attorney Covey regarding your request that he withdraw?
No.
Do you further understand you may need to file motions in the Court of Appeals seeking an extension of time, given the most recent extension goes to June 3 of 2025?
Can I say something real quick? First of all, Darrell Brooks, given his custodial status, all right, everything is going to be arduous in terms of filing motions, like she just mentioned. Because he doesn't have an attorney on hand to be able to do that. He's wavering the attorney. And so that makes everything much more arduous and esoteric. How is he? He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't, he's going to need help. We saw that. We witnessed that in the initial trial when it was hard for him relative to access of legal materials, And well, listen, but see, when you waiver your attorney, opposition, hardship is going to ensue by default because you don't have an attorney on hand. And so everything is going to be much harder in terms of accessibility to reading law books and being prepped, for any court case. When you proceed pro se, you are on dangerous grounds. That's no different than me driving, but I'm blind. That's dangerous to be blind and driving. How am I gonna know where to go if I can't see? And so that's what I'm saying. This nigga blind and dumb.
Yes, I'm aware. I didn't know it was that soon,
He
but yes,
blind and
I
dumb.
do understand that.
Judge, may I jump in for 1 second?
You may.
Thank you. And just for the record, we have sent Mr. Brooks copies of all of our extension motions and the Court of Appeals decisions. What I will do for Mr. Brooks is I'll send him again that my most recent extension motion that he can use as a template, and I'll include a closing letter with the instructions as to how to file that and to use a pre-appeal case number, some of the basic procedural issues that might help them understand the difference between a post-conviction motion and going straight to the Court of Appeals. Is, for my experience, the Court of Appeals is pretty lenient in giving at least several extension motions to pro se defendants. At some point, they'll put some harsher deadlines on. It's a gray area, but I am very, very confident that he'll have more time than June 3rd if he makes a proper request to have more time. It might take a couple of.
All right, I don't know why the attorney could have abridged that. Just get to the point. All right, listen. Let me say this. Actually, the attorney is working in a concerted effort alongside the judge. Watch this. You notice he's saying that on the record. All right. He's saying that on the record just in case Darrell says, well, my attorney didn't say this. That attorney is covering his behind on that record. No different than Judge Doro. She said a lot of things for the record. Why is she saying it for the record? Why is she getting it down for the record? Why is this attorney saying that on the record? It's almost like an insurance policy. In other words, if you say that you didn't get this or proper information, you a lie because it's on record. And watch this. And the record is really for the purpose of appellate purposes, just in case he tries to appeal. And where are we right now? We're not in the appellate court because Judge Doro is a trial judge. So that means her words are what? Temporary, transitory. All right, because an appellate judge can reverse that. But they're getting everything on the record for the purposes of appellate. They come in their ass. Excuse my language. I'm sorry. Let's get back into this.
For us just to get at those files to him. We've been working on it.
Mr. Brooks, do you understand that if the court permits Attorney Covey to withdraw today, you would be responsible to file the next extension request?
So how is he going to do that, given his custodial status? That don't even make sense. It's almost like somebody's trying to help you, but you putting up your middle finger saying "F you." Come on, man. How is he going to gain access to that, given his custodial status? That's my question. He's locked up. Ooh, y'all making my blood pressure. Well, he making my blood pressure. In other words, here we go again. That's why I wasn't really making a lot of Darrel Brooks videos because it was making me upset. It was pissing me off.
Yes.
And you are prepared to do that?
Well, once I receive the templates that Attorney Covey is going to send me, yes, I'll be ready to do it.
Well, at least he can't say, listen, at least he can't say, what is his name, Attorney Covey? The least he can say that Attorney Covey didn't try to help him. Because technically he doesn't have to send Brooks anything. Because he basically got fired. How do you fire a person, but the person that's fired is still willing to send you or try to help you? You fired me, but you want me to send you this? Oh my God! You talk about audacity. You talk about somebody being audacious. You talk about temerity. You talk about somebody that has the testicular fortitude. Uh-oh. Let me. Woo! My Lord, my Lord.
You understand he's not required to do that. He's just offering to
Yeah,
do that, and it would not.
I know.
All right. You understand that's still something you
He
are
don't, he don't know, he
responsible
don't know
for,
crap.
whether he sends you that template or not.
Yes.
Right. Did you hear what she just said? She said whether he sends it to you or not. So that means he's not obligated to. That's my question. How do you fire somebody and then expect them to do something that they're really not obligated to do? If I was that attorney, I would be like, F you. Right, I would not be sending him nothing. The attorney already knows he's guilty, and he knows that this whole appellate is BS, man.
Is there anything else you want me to know or consider today, Mr. Brooks, as I consider the motion to withdraw?
Not really. I think everything was pretty much covered. Um, understanding should be there that, again, this facility is a lot different. So there are different types of hurdles.
Notice he said hurdle. What is a hurdle? Hurdle means opposition. Hurdle means something adversarial. Hurdle means something that's thwarting, it's blocking, it's preventing. So that's my point. If that's the issue, then why are you firing somebody that can get you through the hurdle, man? Why? See, it's like everything he says doesn't make sense. How you gonna complain talking about hurdles when you have an opportunity right now to retain counsel? But I don't get it. I guess there is a difference between sagacity and stupidity. And he is the epitome of stupidity and the antithesis of sagacity. Or sagacity, my bad.
I've already seen it that I would have to jump over to be able to get things done. So I just want that to be stated for the record. That it's just a lot different, and there's a lot of
Well, maybe you need to keep your attorney, man. What you're saying doesn't make any sense. Maybe you should retain counsel. It's a lot different. There's a lot of hurdles. He is dumb. But guess what? The attorney is saying, in theory, I'm not even responsible. You fired me. I don't got to send you nothing. So, in other words, continue to be dumb.
different procedure wise things here. So I'm still navigating that as I haven't been here that long. So I'm still learning as I go. So that's
See,
it.
now watch this. Learning as he goes. See, his attorney already went to law school. He ain't learning nothing because he already did. Mm, y'all ain't. See, he's trying to ascertain. He's trying to learn. He's trying to learn as he go. That lets you know right there. He has no clue. I told y'all this. The Bible, Jesus said, if the blind lead the blind, what happens? They both fall in the ditch. You know why they falling in the ditch? Because they don't know where they're going. They have no sense of direction. They can't see. There's nothing conspicuous relative to their sight. So what am I saying? Brooks is going to fall into a ditch because he's learning as he go. He can't see. He's not an attorney, but yet he wants to proceed pro se, like a fool. High five your neighbor and say, this nigga a fool. This nigga a fool.
And you're willing to take on your own case with that difficulty and those challenges related to the institution.
See, watch this. Challenges. Challenges. If anything is a challenge, that means it's not easy. Come on, look at your neighbor and say, it's not easy. Proceeding, proceed. It's not easy to drive when you know you blind. You might fall into a ditch. Amen.
At this time, yes.
Attorney Colby, anything you think I've overlooked here today as it relates to this motion?
Judge, I'm very satisfied with the colloquy. I think just to make a record, I have just one.
I love that word colloquy. That means parlay, conversation. Talk. They're trying to have a colloquy right now before he proceeds pro se. They're trying to talk him. The judge is really, the judge, ooh, I like that word. Brooks called it tacket, but it's really tacit. In other words, the judge is tacitly or indirectly. That's what tacit means. She's indirectly reminding him concerning the challenges as it relates to proceeding pro se. But he don't want to listen. In other words, he didn't learn the first time.
Other issue. If I may ask Mr. Brooks a quick question.
Go ahead.
Mr. Brooks, I know you talked about that there are some difficulties. I just want to make sure, are you still allowed to have access to your legal files?
So the legal files is something that I haven't been explained. I didn't know that there was conversations about the whole flash file thing. I haven't even heard anything about that. I really don't know how. Somebody maybe here can explain to me how that will work.
See, if he knew what he was doing, he wouldn't have to worry about how things work. Because you're inured to it. What am I saying? His attorney is inured to all of that. So why is he why is he extirpating his counsel? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Um, so I'm kind of like trying to figure it out myself, actually.
Wow. Wow. He trying to figure it out.
Attorney Colby,
He trying to figure it out, but yet he wants to be his own attorney. That doesn't make sense. Watch this. It's almost like, watch, if you want to get out of a hole, the worst thing you could do is have a shovel and keep digging. Digging is not the way out, man. What is he doing? He doesn't know. He's digging a hole deeper and deeper. And it's the opposite of his expectation. Because you cannot get out of a hole if you continue to dig. That doesn't make sense. Oh.
my understanding, based on what you've said, I mean, you believe the institution will accept the external hard drives, obviously any paper that you send through regular mail, just not banker boxes or large boxes full of materials.
Yes. So if I were to send them a 40-page packet of materials with appellate rules of procedure and extension motion template, I think any facility would allow that to be processed through, so long as I don't have clips or staples. As for, but they balked. My initial email, I don't have this memorized. I don't want to make a false statement, but my initial recollection when I first contacted that prison facility was to say that we were going to send them the files. I was told they would accept the file, but then when I stated, or when staff stated that it would be 5 bankers boxes, they put the brakes on that. And then there was some correspondence between their legal staff and my legal staff as to the best way to do this. We'll likely be buying some terabyte hard drives to put the materials on that to send to him.
Oh, come on.
I don't
His attorney don't believe in abridgment. Just get to the point. All this talk. Shut up.
know how much access you'll have to the library. I know in Wisconsin, you can go in almost every prison facility, unless you're in some kind of segregated status for a fight, for example, with another inmate, that you can make reservations to go to a computer
All
library to
right.
review your legal documents. I also know that the time is quite heavily rationed. He's not going to have 8 hours at a time to look at these documents. So that will be a challenge for him.
Right. See, they talking about challenge. They're talking about the hardship. They're talking about the arduous nature. They're talking about this is utterly esoteric to him. He doesn't understand. He doesn't understand the challenges. But then again, maybe I think he does. When I say I think he does, I'm talking about in other words, we already went over this before. He's been through this. This is nothing more than just protocol at its best. They know he doesn't have a clue. He knows he can't win. He knows he doesn't know what he's doing. This is just protocol at its best. All right, let's listen to some more, and then I'm gonna make a comment, and we're going to come to an end.
I
Let
was
me ask
just
you
gonna say
guys.
that too. There's no law library, which I've never seen a jail or a prison without a law library.
Maybe you should keep your attorney, given that there's hardships, there's no law library, you don't have access. It's unpenetrable, meaning that it's not accessible. So if it's not accessible, then why don't you be smart, Darrell, and retain your attorney? But you're too dumb to do that. But anyway, all right, listen, y'all. I know it's been a while since I talked about Darrell Brooks, but guess what? Y'all in for a treat, ain't you? Or y'all was in for a treat. Because we at the end now. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think concerning this buffoon.